sweetie.
Hi, honey.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi. Florida, Arkansas. And FYI, Carol, thank you for those tornadoes that touched down yesterday. We didn't have enough. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for the tornado training.
Margie's here. Welcome back, Dr. D.
Well, thank you. I might go back to the beach, but thank you. Thank you. Hi, guys. I wanted to thank you all for jumping back on tonight's call. I thank Marlene and Richard and Melina and Margie and Maureen and Mary and everybody and Carol who partook in hosting and co-hosting and testimonies. And I just appreciate that you all hung out and stayed with this call. I know that it's important, and you gave me some time to be with my children and my family, which was very needed. So I thank you, and I am back, and I am here for you. But bravo and major applause to everybody. And thank you, Mac, for the continuation of taping them for everybody. Thank you, and happy birthday to all who whose birthdays I have missed and who keep texting me that it's your birthday. So, guys, I want to jump right in tonight on this call. And forgive me, I'm home and people are mowing outside our home. So if you can hear that, Mac, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and close these windows. But I want to jump in because depending on where you live and how frequent you have been part of the summer calls, I want to do two things. One, a little review, but also I want to jump into what, and Margie, I know you can relate to this, what Dr. Smith used to really say, which was the time of year to bank your nutrients. And a lot of you can remember that, right? When you used to hear that, banking your nutrients. And I've talked to you about that many times over the years, that post-convention, right, post-summer, as we head into fall. And although for a lot of you, you'll say, but it's still really warm in here, right? In Boston, it's 90, although we had tornadoes. But even still, our bodies are transitioning to the season of fall or autumn. And we are going to see a shift in the type of food supply. And you'll all start to see it. That is harvested and grown, and you'll start to see more of what we call the fall foods. And a big part of that is kind of adapting to the seasons, even if you don't see them. Your body's still adapting. And as you go looking, right, for things like the best blueberries or strawberries, and you start to notice, these aren't as wonderful as maybe they were last month. Some of you, have, and I have taken as many of your emails as I possibly could while on the Caven in Maine, and responded to it. Some of you have said, wow, I have kind of a smoothie that I make every day, or I'm in a routine that I use with my Sunrider foods that have kind of kept me healthy, but I cannot seem to find the fruit that I use, right? The bananas don't necessarily look the same, or I'm somebody that really likes blackberries, and I cannot seem to get them. What do you think? So I started to really recognize for a lot of you that two really big things, and that's why I'm going to do a little bit of a review. One is that we all get into a routine where we like what we like, right? We like it how we like it, and we get consistent with that routine. And sometimes we need to change or improve upon that routine. The second is that a lot of you are not using as much Sunrider as you once were. And we're going to have a little conversation about that. That the concept, and I know Matt can speak to this, the concept of what regeneration really is about, and what does it really mean for our bodies if we eat one capsule of quinine, or get by with the one capsule. And so what seems to be the theme, guys, over this past month, as I have observed the emails and really taken a look to heart at where we're all at, and that is as we go forward, we all have to remember why regeneration matters, why these Sunrider foods really matter, why they're different, why they're special, what they do for us short term and long term, and then how to adapt as we go forward into a new season. Okay, so I'm going to kind of jump on in because I've missed you, and I'm sure you were wonderful with Marlene and Richard and Melina and Maureen and everybody. Now you've got me again. So as the kids say, haha, you've got her back. I want to jump in and just say first and foremost that the philosophy for all of you that are new on this call, or for a lot of you that may have forgotten, is really distinct and unique to Sunrider. And for someone like me who has been in the field of medicine and the field of nutrition for over 25 years and has really been in the field of research, biology, been in private practice, been at the clinics, been pretty much everywhere, and also raised children using the Sunrider foods and attempting to feed them healthy, right? At the same time, also recovered from my own health challenges and nourished my body back to health. And in the same token, am still feeding my parents, right, who are aging, Sunrider foods to offer them a longer, healthier life, right? So we look at all the different stages that Sunrider affords us with the nutrition. But what's different about Sunrider is that it's whole foods. And anybody who's ever grown a garden, or who has gone to the farm stand, or you've gone to the market where you are looking and scouting out, right, the best whole foods. For me, I came home to a plethora of cucumbers. I'm not sure what I'm doing with them yet, but a plethora of them that have grown since I was away. But a whole food means that it is in its whole food state. We'll use the cucumber as the example, okay? Means that I pick that cucumber that's been grown in wonderful soil, that's been nourished and nurtured, right? And I eat that cucumber. That cucumber in its whole food state is going to offer me two things. It's going to offer me calories, and it's going to offer me genuine whole food nutrition. Everything is intact, and every ingredient or every vitamin that needs to accompany each other to make that cucumber work is in place. So there's nothing extracted out and put back in, right? There's no vitamin C taken out. There's no water taken out. There's nothing that's been removed and put back in. It's in its whole food state, and I'm eating it as so. Now, if I eat 10 of those cucumbers and get the nutrition of 10 of those, and I were to say to you, for all of you who love cucumbers, they're wonderfully hydrating, right? They also are amazing on the two systems, the lymphatic system to help us drain and decrease inflammation, and also circulatory system. They help your blood flow much easier. But they're also very restorative and regenerative. Think about puffy eyes. We use cucumbers topically, right? On our eyes. Think of them internally. They decrease inflammation. So we add that whole food of the cucumber. If I were to eat 10 of those, I would get the nutrition of 10, but I may not be able to digest them. My stomach might say, I love them, but it's too much fibrous ingredients, right? I'm now bloated and distended, and I don't feel great. And suddenly I'm not digesting or absorbing the nutrition that I hope for in those 10 cucumbers. So what are my alternatives to get the whole food nutrition from 10 cucumbers without eating 10 cucumbers? people will say, I take isolated vitamins, right? Isolated vitamins, meaning I start with a whole food and I extract from it an isolate, like ascorbic acid, right? From we'll use an orange. So I'm taking vitamin C that's in its isolated form. And it may help me, right, today and give me a little bit of that vitamin I'm missing, but it's not going to rebuild or it's not going to regenerate the body. There's no building block to it. What's another option? Another option is something called Sunrider. And what Sunrider has done in the brilliance of Drs. Chen is they have taken the best of Western science and truly Eastern philosophy of whole food nutrition. And they have found a way to actually keep that cucumber in its whole food state so that when you eat it, even if it looks like a capsule, even if it looks like a powder or a liquid, it's in its whole food state. It just looks a little different. And they have been able to concentrate that so they can now get 10 times or more the concentration of that cucumber. So I can get the nutrition of those 10 cucumbers in my capsule. My digestive tract now says, I can handle that. My body says, oh my gosh, it's still in its whole food state. I know what to do with it. I can get it to all the right systems. I can repair, I can replace, I can replenish, and I can do what's called regenerate, to make new again, right? To turn that clock back, to allow for our genes, our cells, to begin recovery and become new and healthier. New cells come in healthier than old cells going out. Now think of every vegetable, every fruit. Think about something as simple as an organic, non-GMO tofu for good protein, for those of you that like this. Think about the berries that are no longer in season that you're looking for. And then think about someone who actually has the experience, education, history, and brilliance of putting together which foods actually strengthen which system. Which of those vegetables in your beautiful garden are going to strengthen your immune system? What would you have to consume every single day to give your cells the immune system you crave? Which of those vegetables and fruits actually support and rebuild your digestive tract? Or again, are we only looking for that one piece of ginger because you have a stomach ache? What separates Sunrider is the difference of whole food regeneration. If I give my body enough of the living whole foods in a form that my body can receive and digest and absorb in a combination that actually supports those specific systems and in the best quality, your body will do miraculous things. And I mean miraculous. The key here is to be consistent and eat enough of them so that they have a chance to work for you. The difference, I think, especially in this country, we face is that when I have a headache and someone says, take a Tylenol, right? Or I have a headache, or replace it with the white willow bark. All I'm really doing is treating the headache, but I'm not building up, right, my body to understand what was the cause of that headache. What does my body need to get stronger so those headaches don't have to be as frequent versus only looking for an alternative treatment? Sunrider gives us the building blocks, but although you may not feel it instantly, although some of you have, and although you may not be able to see it, but someone like me who looks at blood work every day does see it. I promise you, Your bodies are getting stronger and they're regenerating. They're creating new cells. So we have to ask ourselves in going forward, in our world of stress, in our world of kids going back to school, or for those of you that are building your wonderful Sunrider businesses, or for those of you that are amazing caretakers, right? Some of us have young ones, middle ones, and taking care of parents, right? Like myself. You have to ask yourself, how much nutrition do I need or require for the life I'm living? And am I consuming enough of it? Because after spending a month observing the emails, I'm 100% positive you're not eating enough Sunrider. 100%. So let's look at that little piece of it, okay? So if I am, having a wonderful vacation and I may not require as much nutrition, my stress is down, right? I may not be as needed by my children. Let's say I come back, and I'm using myself as an example, so you'll use yourself as an example. Grandkids are over, okay? Somebody that you love gets sick. Just this week, we had 2 people pass away, just this week, that I loved. Think about things you cannot prepare for. It's life, right? Am I consuming enough Sunrider for my life? I'm driving back to college. Abby wants to join the volleyball team, right? There's dentist appointments, you pick it. All the stuff that makes a life a life. And then ask yourself, maybe her life isn't my life. However, maybe I run every day and I really like to exercise, or I aspire to exercise, or my bones aren't exactly where I'd like them to be. Am I consuming enough Sunrider to equate the life that I really am leading and want to lead? So if we start and we just kind of reflect as we go forward, how much NBC are you truly consuming versus how much you're using for treatment? And I'm all for, guys, utilizing foods when we don't feel wonderful, or I learned this summer I have systemic poison ivy. Who knew I was allergic to poison ivy? Nobody should ever experience it. Right? I mean, you have to laugh at some point. And so you have to ask yourself again, I'm in treatment, but how do I build my body now so it's stronger? Ask yourself, if our goal is to nourish, not just nourish the body, but nourish the cells, red blood cells, right? Your blood, white blood cells. Think of your defense system, your immune system, your fighters, your fighter T cells. Are you consuming enough so you feel good? Or is it just when you get a sniffle and a cold, or you get a headache or feel run down, that you turn and start building? Your N is New Plus. And there's many versions of New Plus. You know this. And as Dr. Chen spoke about, right, that I know Marlene spoke about, but as Dr. Chen spoke about, which I loved during the conference, that the New Plus original is the original formula, right, that he used in his own body as a child to build himself up, that his grandfather had created. But all the New Pluses are based on that original formula. And the goal is that we all don't have to be doctors. Right? We all don't have to be chefs or nutritionists or Reiki masters, or we can all be exactly who we are, knowing that all versions of New Plus build all cells, whether it's mixed berry or pina banana, right? Whether you like it in a muffin or you like it in a smoothie or you like it dry, it doesn't matter. The key is to remind yourself, do I wait till I'm symptomatic and the people I love are symptomatic? Or do do I start building right now? Now, New Plus, like food, think of it like table food, was designed to be eaten multiple times a day so that you are rebuilding your cells, so that all of those white blood cells that are fighting for you and keeping you from the germ, right, have a fighting chance. It's not just alpha 20C to build the immune system. It's New Plus to build the cells, right? So your white blood cells, all cells from your head to your toe require New Plus. So they stay in proper form. They're not mutating. And even if they are, we want to rebuild and recover and regenerate. For those that, guys, I'm going to ask you to mute star 6 if you're in your kitchen. I know a lot of you are in your blender or in the drawers. New Plus, Vita Shake, Sun Bar, all of these are the same. All of these are the same. They just have a little extra sparkle, right, to some of them. The Vita Shake has a little tofu for some protein and some Metabalance 44 for those of you that would like to get your multi in with your New Plus. It's got some Vitadophilus in it, so you have a probiotic for your gut. But the formula is New Plus. We're building our cells. That's your N, nourish. And in order for you guys to get into this next season of life, whatever that looks like for you, you have to start nourishing now. This is what we call banking our nutrients. We are at the time where cold and flu season hasn't hit, right? None of the craziness is as crazy. We can bank the nutrition in the cell. So if we run across a virus, or we get stressed, or kids get sick, right? Or life gets busy, we have backup nutrition in our cells that our body uses. That's what we call banking our nutrients. It stores them. So the difference of I'm eating one New Plus to give me nutrition today and to help me regenerate a little, versus I'm eating 3 New Plus today to regenerate me like crazy so that I have an amazing future, right? I can change my narrative of my future, but also so I can bank the nutrients so that my body has something to call upon. Because guys, here's what happens. If there's nothing in your body to call upon when it gets sick or it's challenged, we find ourselves in what's called ketosis. Your body starts to eat itself in a sense, turns on the muscles, and you end up in a weaker state. So you want to bank those nutrients. And for a lot of you, as you emailed me, as I've recently learned, some of you eat 1 meal a day. You say, I have one great meal a day. You're not getting enough nutrition. So if you're someone that eats 1 meal a day, could you please add the New Plus 3 times? Or it could be the bar. If you're someone that eats a solid meal 3 times a day, add your New Plus before your meal so you can identify after you've eaten your New Plus. Just add some water to it. How hungry am I before you eat all your table food? You can use it as baby food. You can use it before bed to help you sleep. But the bottom line is we all need healthier cells. All of us. And we need a healthier fortitude going forward. So we've got our N, nourish the body. Get us up the mountain, allow us not to peter out, get us up, then allow us to have energy to go down and come back up again. New Plus fills in all those gaps, and we have all these versions of it. Now think about the B. The B is balance. It's balancing of the system. The New Plus is going to feed all the cells. Your systems are made up of cells. Your heart is made up of cells. Your lungs are made up of cells. But we have systems that work independently and collectively, right? So they feed off each other. If one goes down, it usually takes another one down with it. If we build one up, it usually brings another one along with it. Your quinary feeds all of these important systems. And here's the thing, guys. Not because you have a stomach ache, but because we want a better quality of life, and we want the fortitude again to have this quality of life. So we're talking digestion, circulation, your immune or defense, right? Your respiratory, and of course your hormonal. And that's for everybody, young, middle-aged, old, doesn't matter, everybody. And all of our organs partake in these systems. So without nourishing the system, you are left in a state, guys, of malnourishment. And you're basically waiting for a symptom. So the goal is to nourish the system. We feed ourselves with Nuplus. We feed the systems with the quinary. And that quinary, an adult portion, guys, adult, is either 10 capsules or one of the powder packets or one liquid 5. And I'm just calling it like it is. I understand a lot of you like 5 capsules or 2 capsules. Wonderful. But I am just wanting you to understand that if your life gets busy, you've got to increase your nutrition. You have to make sure your Sunrider is giving you the nutrition you need to keep your life, keep up with your life. When we're dealing with children, a lot of times I look at weight. How much does a child weigh? And so my youngest, right, who is 14, weighs more than me. Why would I give her less than myself, right? Even though our ages are different. Look at weight. For the young ones, right, my little ones, I did liquid 5. Or I did quinary a little bit, right, a quarter of it in their sippy cups or their bottles. But I did not omit it. There was no fear. I was feeding them and nourishing them. Every child going back to school needs Nuplus in some form and quinary in some form. Everybody. And then look at the C. We have nourishment, we have balance, and we have cleanse. The cleanse is equally as important. And again, after reading the emails, the cleanse is not about de-bloating. It's not about I'd like to lose a little weight. Will this take it off me? Which I'm all for, but the purpose of the C or your Cali and your Fortune Delight is to allow for all the toxins that we breathe in, or all the toxicity that we've had because of overuse of medications or stressful lives or foods that we've eaten or things that we cannot control, pollution, to allow the body to flush it all out. Or maybe there's something we breathed in that day, a germ, a virus. The body can absolutely get rid of it. So drinking your Cali or your Fortune Delight every day is critical. It's as important as the nourishment. All together, this works. Now, drink a little bit extra Fortune Delight, and it makes a bigger difference on your cholesterol, right? Gets those numbers down. Gets the fat down. Drink a little bit extra Cali. It helps for everyone who's dealing with the allergies and the sinuses, and my head feels tired and dizzy, right? From sinus issues. Everybody can benefit from a little bit more. But I need you to drink enough to equate to your life. So the question was, well, is 1 Cali bag enough? Well, if you have a busy life and you are someone like me who spent yesterday all day in the hospital with my folks, that it was necessary to be there. It was precautionary and necessary. How much Cali is enough Cali, right? So I drank 2 bags instead of 1 because I want to make sure I'm flushing out and I'm flushing through. If I'm someone that is active and I am perspiring and I'm outside a lot, or I'm inside and I'm busy, I'm going to drink more Fortune Delight. But I'm going to look at it and say, am I hydrating? Am I cleansing equal to the life I'm living? Or am I shortchanging myself and my family? Okay? And when I hear, I don't know if the Sunrider is working. I'm not sure I feel any difference. I absolutely already know what's happening. It's not enough to equate to your life. Now, when we go forward and we're banking these nutrients, and we go forward into fall, I want to give you 3 really important products that you have to have in your house. These become, for a lot of you, you already have them. And again, for some of you that have already texted me in the past few minutes, I already know you don't have them, and I want you to have them. All right, so we're going to go back for a minute and say, I am assuming, I know that's not a word I love to use, I'm assuming you are all going to use some version of Quinary, New Plus, Cali, and Fortune every day, all the time. You're going to bank your nutrients. And if you love your smoothies, you're going to acclimate. Pick a new berry, right? If you like bananas, add the bananas. Wonderful. If you want some recipes, I will post recipes. But the key here is not the smoothie. It's are you drinking enough of the Sunrider ingredients within the smoothie? I want you to start moving towards, when you're in the grocery store, the farm stand, which are the vegetables and the fruits that look the healthiest right now, that they look plump and juicy versus shriveled up, and I really liked them and I want to eat them again, but they don't look wonderful. I want you to pick food at the peak of its perfection. That's what Sunrider does with all of its ingredients. Everything is harvested and picked at the peak of its perfection, because that's where the quality and quantity of nutrients live. As you go forward, I want you to start looking for things like all the new squashes that come out. Maybe it's yellow squash still, maybe it's zucchini, maybe it's sweet potatoes, the root vegetables start coming out. For a lot of you, you keep asking about your tomatoes, what to do with your tomatoes. Right now is a wonderful time, guys, to make salsa. And a lot of you have texted me and said you're putting Quinary in your salsa. I had never done that. It's wonderful. Some of you are putting actual original New Plus in with your tomatoes and making your own tomato sauce. It's wonderful. You're making gazpacho. I'm looking at all of it. The key again is table food, really important, but second, Sunrider first. Let's get the maximum amount of nutrition first, and then we're going to add our table food to it so that your body is not craving the incredible and important nutrients. And I will send out and post a fall newsletter, and Mac will send it out to you also on all the foods anyway, vegetables, etc. for fall, okay? So you have the list and the Dirty Dozen and all of it. But I want you to all have in your homes, along with your NBC Extra, and I know you already know this, but I'm telling you this, Chinese golden seal root. This is important. And this is the time that all of you who love your dandelion, add in your Chinese golden seal either with it or in place of it. And remind yourselves that our Chinese golden seal is regenerative and restorative. And it's designed, right, to actually strengthen those mucous membranes in the respiratory tract. So whether it's what you breathe in your sinus cavities that get swollen, or a lot of you get drainage, and even with the allergies, remember, allergies begin and the sinus infection ends, right? So even though I know a lot of you say it's just allergies, build up the system anyway. Everybody benefits from a little Chinese golden seal every single day. Everybody. Not traditional golden seal, because again, that would destroy the flora in your digestive tract or your good bacteria. But the Chinese golden seal does not destroy that flora at all. And so what it does is it's going to soothe and it's going to improve the strength of those mucous membranes. Your upper respiratory tract will improve. Those of you that do exercising, martial arts, I know mine are hockey, all of that. I always adding extra Chinese golden seal, but it promotes the health, guys, of the immune system and the upper respiratory system. And that has to go hand in hand with your quinary, especially in today's day. That our goal, right, is that we're healthier and stronger than the virus is. And that even years before, when we were just looking at cold and flu season, this was still the right choice. And you can start now, again, banking those extra nutrients so your body has them. One of the other pieces that I've shared with you before, but I want to remind you of, is that within the Chinese golden seal, there are properties that reduce inflammation. They're anti-inflammatory properties. So for everybody who struggles with inflammation, everybody, whether it's your version of fibromyalgia, or it can be something like colitis, or it could be someone who exercises a lot, has old sports injuries, that you end up inflamed. I want you to add this to it. I think we forget that there's other ingredients that can help us with situations that we may not have thought of, especially when we are dealing with inflammatory of the digestive tract, because we're dealing also with mucus. And so anything that comes from the nose to the ears, ultimately you're swallowing, right? It's going through the GI tract. The Chinese golden seal is phenomenal, whether it's the children or it's the adults, to add to your NBC. And yes, of course, you can use it when you don't feel well, but what I'm talking about right now is building you up so that you don't have to get to that point. The second is, as we go into the season, especially school for a lot of you, or you are around a lot of kids that are going back to school, everybody get the extra alpha-20C. Everybody. So even though you're using your quinary, we know that the immune system is really going to have to work harder. And so, as I said to you before, right? Are you giving your body enough of the nutrition for the life you're asking it, right, to feed? If we are going into a situation where we're saying, I want you to fight off every single germ, I want you to make sure there's no runny nose, that my immune system is in tip-top shape, we have to feed it more. So more, to a lot of you, is one capsule. A powder packet or a sachet of alpha-20C, like quinary, is 10 capsules. So I want you to ask yourself, am I feeding my respiratory and my immune system enough to get me where I want to go? Okay? The third is one that I think everybody needs in their house. And as I learned this summer, which was slightly shocking, how many of you don't use this? You buy it from the health food stores, and that is Sunrider's Citric C. Citric C is not the same as your vitamin C that is at the health food store or at CVS or at BJ's, Costco, whatever you've got. It's not. This is, I want you to always keep in mind, whole food nutrition. Your Citric C is whole food. Think of it as whole fruits and vegetables that have the most vitamin C in them. They just happen to taste really good. And they work every day. And the kids can chew these. And so every day, not just when you don't feel good, every day, morning, noon, night, everybody chew one. And then as you have symptoms, you can increase. But everybody use these to build and bank your nutrients versus wait until you just don't feel wonderful. I'm going to give you two more since I've got a little bit more time and I've got them right in front of me to do this. The fourth one that I'd like you to have in conjunction with everything you've got that, again, I think is one of the most important products we've got, and that's Electrosport. I think that from a professional standpoint, dehydration is causing more problems than almost anything else. And although a lot of you think that everybody in your groups or even your family understand it, sometimes we just don't know until we're about to pass out, or we're symptomatic and we don't recognize this really connects to dehydration. Children, right? Adults, middle age, elderly, everybody take a vial of Electrosport. You can use one vial for the family if you want, or you can put it in your own sport bottle. Put it in the pitcher with some Fortune Delight and some Sun Nectar or Sunny Dew, and ice it up. Fill that up with water with that vial of Electrosport and put it in the refrigerator and let everyone drink it. We've got to replace the electrolyte, not just the water. The electrolytes regulate the rhythm. That's the best way I'm going to explain this to you. Think about how your heart beats, what it feels like if it races or it skips a beat. Your electrolytes regulate your rhythm. Think about what it feels like for someone in their brain, right? When everything goes haywire and they can't make sense of their words or they can't make sense of their thoughts. It feels erratic. It's a rhythm. Electrolytes regulate from head to toe the rhythm of your body while hydrating. And when we talk about hydrating, we're not just saying hydrating like water. We're saying hydrating like the missing minerals you lose when you perspire, or when the body is sick, or when kids have diarrhea, right? Or when you just haven't, when you've been outside a lot, and even if it was a wonderful day, but you didn't realize how much you perspired, or you're working a lot, or for a lot of women, they are overheating and having a lot of night sweats, or they're having a lot of menopausal hot flashes. I want you to start using the Electrosport to think of it, bank the electrolytes and see if a lot of these symptoms don't go away, rather than just treating them. And I know that touched on a lot, but I'm trying to give you a whole bunch of what you all asked me for to go forward, especially as we move through the end of summer and we move into fall. And then the last one is one that, again, of the 40 or some of you that I asked about this product, two of you responded that you use it too. And I want to go over it as one of the last products here tonight. And that is what's called Siwuja. And Siwuja, as I've shared many times, is a really important herb. It is really Siberian ginseng, and it's in your joy. For those of you that use Top Joy and Ease, joy to help the rebuilding of joints, muscle, and tissue. But Siwuja does much more. And for a lot of you in your pack as you're rebuilding and you're handling, for a lot of you, there's a lot of muscle pain this summer. I want you to just listen one more time to what Sunrider themselves is saying on their own product fact sheet. It's a warming herb that helps your body to adapt to daily stress by supporting your bones and your joints and supporting the circulation, right? Ever have varicose veins, anybody? You know what that feels like. Ultimately, it increases, and this is important, physical and mental endurance. What it does is it warms the body and it starts to rebuild and help the body adapt to, think of it like this, the body as it's handling its stress physically, whether it's endurance or it's the wear and tear on the muscle, the joints. It's stress. It's not just daily stress. It's a life of stress. And it's what it feels like as you go day to day and think this is how it has to be and how it's supposed to be. I guess I'm just supposed to feel this way. I guess my finger will always feel this way. My bones will always feel this way. I guess my head so, I guess I won't ever rebuild my lungs to where I have that endurance again. This product works to help the body not just adapt, but repair. It also, as a side note, is really calming on the immune system because it warms it. Reminds me of like a very, anybody who's ever had some hot tea at night, that it warms your body and you feel relaxed, like hot night Cali. What Siwu Jha does at night, and you can make it into a tea, is it's calming. And I used to open a capsule, guys, and put it in my kids' sippies to relax them. And it offers a sound sleep. So for all of you who have yet to figure out your combination to go to sleep, I am positive you haven't thought of this. So here we've got the wear and tear on the body. How do we build that? We can use joy, of course, but this is a different component of it that does miraculous things right now. For those of you that emailed me all summer that you had wear and tear on your lungs for the first time, that your stress levels, right, on your body, you felt different, you hurt. Others have been emailing. The few that I asked, are you using this to help with the stamina of the joints, the muscles, so you can stand longer on your feet? For those of you that know what it's like when your hips hurt. So those who know what it's like when your upper back hurts, your lower back. Nobody was using this product. Two of you. And for those two, they had testimonies that this had absolutely changed their world. They used it in connection, right, or combination with their NBC. But what I started to see was that we have either forgotten the significance of what makes sunrise so special, what concentrated foods can do, and what eating enough of them can do, and what really certain products can help us, especially if we bank them. If we know our bodies enough to know which ones, right? Which category do I fall into? And which Sunrider foods do I want to really overeat right now and bank? I promise you, your fall will be different. Your autumn will look different. Your immune system will be different. The aches and pains will be different. The recovery is faster. And I just want to share, as I finish with everybody tonight, a very unique story that happened. And that was to one of my sons, who very unexpectedly, very unexpectedly, not in a static place, developed some seizures. And the extreme of it, right? The stress of it, the testing and all the things that go along when we have something new. The interesting part, the reason I'm sharing this with you through this story, is that he started to drink his own vial of Electrosport with his fortune, and the full serving amount, right? But it was the Electrosport with that Fortune Delight multiple times a day, only to make sure we were replacing all minerals. And it's not to say that these seizures will be gone forever, or that we will not be revisiting this and looking at this, but they stopped. And so what I look at when I look at foods is, am I eating enough for the situation of my life? Right? And that's what I really want to emphasize and leave you with tonight. Now, before I say goodbye, I want first for Donna, Mac, Marlene, whoever wants to tell whatever is coming up, but also anyone who wants to share. If you have experiences or you have questions, now's your moment. You can go for it.
Karen, I have one.
Sure.
Karen from Oklahoma.
Hi, sweetie.
Would the CYG plus the live stream be good for problems with sitting?
Wonderful. add a little sun breeze to that, but yes. Yes. And enough of it, right, Catherine? Enough of it.
Yeah, I have a hard time sitting for any period of time.
Absolutely.
I've sat for 31 years. Yeah.
Let's get a pain.
Yeah. Really.
You're right? And then you can come on and give the testimony.
Okay, we'll see how that works.
Okay. Anyone else?
Dr. D, hi, Dr. D. It's Barb. And
Hi, ladies.
I'm calling. I want to ask you some questions. I don't know if you can answer them or not. But my son got hurt at work, and now due to the doctors not checking him out, now he's paralyzed in his legs because the doctors here that operated on him said that he got blood in his spinal cord, and that's what paralyzed him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who's your upline, hon?
It's Kathleen.
Okay. I'm going to just give you guys my email, and why don't you email this to me and let me respond privately, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So it's just Dr. Dees, DRDEES at Comcast.net. Okay? And
what?
At Comcast.net. NET.
I don't know what you're saying there. Contact?
COMCAST. Comcast.
Comcast.net. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dr. G, is there a period after doctor?
No period. Nope. Mm-mm.
Just all one word?
One word. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll email you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And who else is trying to get on?
Margie.
Hi, sweetie.
I just wanted to give you a quick testimonial about my daughter got seizures when she was 6. She started having 3 grand mal seizures a week. And, we had to go through the testing and do all that stuff. And it was very stressful, and it was but I just knew that Sunrider was the way to go because all they offer is medication. And so anyway, I just worked with her. It took some time. It's been a long time, so I can't even tell you. But anyway, she stopped having him when she was 7, and she's 32, and she's fine. And
Wonderful.
Never had him. So just to give you a little hope. I know it's,
and it does. And I will say, Marge, honestly, what I loved is the response was do what you do best, and the medication would be right at the end. And I love listening to the success stories. And okay, how much did you eat? Right? Let's do it.
And
so thank you for that.
It's just nourishing, and there's hope. Cause I have people tell me, "Oh, my kid's been on medication for 20 years, or I've been on medication for 20 years with seizures and all that stuff." And all I could say was, "Not my kid."
Love it.
So,
I love it. And I will say, I love that the rest of the summer he has not had any. So, not right. So we're all in sync. All right.
Sure.
What are the? Yes.
quick question. Hi, honey. It's Nina.
Hi.
What about for a dog that's having grand mal seizures? What do you know?
I don't. However, it doesn't mean someone does not. I can certainly do the research, but I'd pull Margie back into the conversation.
Yeah.
Or I would ask anybody. Who else?
Yeah. If it feeds a child, it will feed a dog. So just feed them.
That would have been my answer. Yeah. I mean, food's food.
So what dose? Anything that applies to you could apply to, we don't know sometimes why you get seizures, but I personally thought it was related to the vaccine she got for going into kindergarten, but that could be it. So I just did she drank a lot of Cali. She also did all the basics. So, New Plus, winery, all those things.
That's what I was going to say, Nina. Stick with NBC for now.
So I'm just wondering what dosage of the woo that I can give to my dog.
because of that on the call tonight, I'm not sure that I don't think that there's any danger. That's what I want to say. Because it's food, I think that you can feel safe and let the dog eat as they like and start, small amounts. But I would absolutely just feel hopeful and confident that because it's food, that there's nothing to worry about. And you can text me. I mean, we can look it up and see. But I think this is all good.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. Yes.
My son gives his dog the Electrosport, and he just gives it as much as he'll take.
I love that. And I've got to say that is miraculous. I love this Electrosport. This is wonderful, Carol. It's wonderful. All right, guys. Marlene, any other calls?
He's down on the Mexican border, so Texas-Mexican border. So his dog rides a lot.
And is dehydrated and depleted.
Exactly.
And needs to have the endurance replaced.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Thank you, sweetie. Mar?
Hi, sweetie. Yes. So right after this is the Rising Stars team call. You can just go to the Rising Stars Facebook page and get the link to go right on that. And thank you, Karen. This was a fantastic call. And yes, I am with you that if you're not getting the results that you want, please increase.
Amen, girl. Thank you, love. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Go rebuild, rehydrate, regenerate, and let's all give ourselves a wonderful, wonderful autumn coming up. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Dr. Dees.
Thank you.